Today, we're joined by someone who knows what it means to compete at the highest level, both on and off the field. Marvin Washington spent 11 seasons in the NFL, including 8 with the New York Jets and a Super Bowl championship with the Denver Broncos. Now, beyond the game, he's become a strong advocate for men's health, athlete wellness, and financial empowerment. From raising awareness about chronic traumatic encephalopathy, also known as CTE, and safe alternatives to opioids, to his recent call for Black men to get screened for prostate cancer, Marvin continues to use his voice to inform, inspire, and protect others. He's also a Dallas native, a University of Idaho Hall of Famer, and today serves as a financial advisor with Williams Small Wealth Management Group, guiding both professionals and guiding both professional athletes and individuals in planning for their future. Marvin, it's a great pleasure to have you here today. Welcome to Principles for Success.
Hey, Chris, thanks for having me, man. And I'm just like grateful to be on and be able to share my story and give some insight to what I'm doing, what I've done, and what I'm going to be doing.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to have you. And I'll tell you what sparked this conversation really is going through Facebook a couple of weeks ago, maybe around July 31st or somewhere around there. I saw a video of you speaking directly to camera. I mean, really encouraging men and specifically Black men to go out and get screened for prostate cancer. So I guess the question I'd have for you is, man, what sparked that particular video? I will tell you it moved me. I shared it on my page and said, hey, I then reached out to you to do the interview. So I guess the question is, what sparked you to do the
No,
video?
I appreciate that, man. It hit home with me. It resonated with me. And before, I knew I was going to do the PSA, and I've been talking to the Prostate Foundation. And 2 weeks before I got the script to do the PSA, I had two buddies undergo prostate cancer. And then when I started thinking about it, from my family, I've been touched. From my friends in high school, I've been touched. Friends in college, I've been touched. Friends that I played professional football with, friends in corporate America with. So it's touching a lot of men, and it's a second leading killer among men. And a lot of men are going to it, particularly if you're Generation X or you're the boomer. So I'm telling everybody to go out and, you know, when you see your doctor, get checked out, because
Yeah.
you can be feeling well, you can be this, that, and the other. And you want to get it in its early stages, early detection, so it can be treatable because it can be a killer. And it is a killer. And I know everybody's worried, and men and my friends are worried about their vitality, but uh, as I told one of my friends, you need to be worried about living,
Yeah.
and then take it from there. And so that's why I got behind that, because it's a killer among men, and we don't like to get checked out, and we're embarrassed by it. I had a family member that had it, and he wanted to keep it a secret. Then another family member got it, and I was like, "Can I tell him that you had it so you can talk to him and walk him through the stages?" And so that's where it happened. This is something that is not. Um, should be kept a secret or you should be ashamed of. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying early detection is the key. Go out every year, you go out and get that test. And I'm having a physical at the Cleveland Clinic in September, and that's I'm definitely getting checked out. I get checked out
Yeah.
annually.
Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think we hear it all the time. Early detection is key when it comes to everything. So that's why it's extremely important that when we go and have that doctor's visit, we actually take the time to ask questions, get to know what our numbers are in every area of that visit. So, and when you talk about Black men, and again, your video was directly encouraging all men, but specifically directed to Black men. So, according to the American Cancer Society and CDC, Black men have about a 67% higher incidence rate of prostate cancer and are more than twice as likely to die from it. Often because it's diagnosed later, we face, of course, systemic barriers to care, and sometimes we encounter more aggressive disease. So, I guess from your perspective, what do you think men most need to understand about the reality of what those numbers say to us?
Those numbers say, Black men, we need to take better care of ourselves, and we need to look out for each other and encourage each other to go to
Yeah.
the doctor and get tested every year. It's not no longer the invasive test, or it's not even a colonoscopy, which you're supposed to get every 5 years. But get
Yeah.
tested, get the PSA blood test that is non-invasive, and it can tell you right there. But go to the doctor and get checked out, man, because um, too many of us don't. Too
Yeah.
many of us don't, whether it's diabetes, whether it's high blood pressure. I had the best man at my wedding, my high school coach. He coached in college at SMU and whatever. He died from high blood pressure. That's preventative because he wasn't taking his medication. I had another friend that died from prostate cancer because he waited too late to get checked out. Get checked out, man. Like, whatever it is, however you're feeling, still go to the doctor. Still go to
Yeah.
the doctor. You got to know and take it from there, you know. But prevention is the key. And for Black men, man, like we need to take care of each other and encourage other men to go get checked out. And when we're having these conversations, ask them when's the last time they've seen their primary care physician. Ask them when's the last time they got an annual physical.
Yeah.
Because if you're a Black man, you're more than likely working. You probably have health insurance. So go to the doctor and get checked out.
Yeah.
We're
I
no
think
longer in our 20s and 30s and Superman and feeling like Superman.
no, man, you're absolutely right. I mean, we know we're at that age where we've got to be getting checked out. I mean, 45 and above, and particularly, it's time to start getting that annual checkup, man. As uncomfortable as it may be at times, you've got to have it. So it's important. But you said something that I think was very key when you talked about the fact that had the family member who had it and didn't want to share it. I think one of the things that we as men really have to understand is that we're never really alone. We're never really the only one. Just even today, I had, I've been working out the last couple of weeks and been putting some videos out there. And every time I think, you know what, man, why am I putting these videos out? No one wants to see this. Honestly, I had a brother text me today, say, "Hey, man, thank you for the videos you're putting out there about working out." He had a knee injury and says he's, going to be getting back into the gym here real soon. But it was just in sharing something as simple as that. So think if you really have a serious illness and now you've got a family member who's experienced that same thing, if they can at least and share with you on what their experience was like, how that could possibly encourage that man to say, you know what, okay, now I know what questions to ask my doctor the next time I go in based on your experience. So it's a whole thing about iron sharpening iron. But if we don't ever talk about it, we don't get that opportunity to really help one another in that way.
And we have to talk about it. Everybody's going
Yeah.
through something. And,
Yeah.
the African proverb of it takes a village when you talk about, raising a kid and what have you, but it takes a village, for us to come together because we're all in this together, particularly as African American men and some of the stuff that we're against, as you mentioned, like systematic barriers to
Yeah.
healthcare. Them overrating or underestimating our pain and things of that nature, but we got to go and take care of each other. I would encourage you to find your doctor that you're comfortable with. My doctor is an African American doctor, but I've
Yeah.
had majority doctors. But right now in my life, I just feel like I need an African American doctor. I have one, and that's for me. But at the end of the day, go see a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. And you may have just said it because I guess I was really going to get into what do you feel for that man who may be hesitant for whatever reason he's hesitant to go and get visited. What would you say to encourage him to take that next step? But you may have just said it right there. Uh,
Well, if you're afraid to take the next step, if you're not going to do it for yourself, somebody loves you. Whether it's your kids, whether it's
mhm.
your sisters, whether it's your mom, somebody loves you. Go do it for them.
Oh, man, I love that. So, alongside sounding the alarm about prostate cancer, you've also been one of the leading voices on another critical health issue facing athletes, and that's concussions and things around CTE. So, let's talk about that. I guess the CDC and Boston University studies show that repeated hits to the head, even without full concussions, can lead to chronic traumatic encephalopathy, a degenerative brain disease that has been found in the majority of former NFL players studied. I guess what first led to you to step into this fight and to speak out regarding
It's
CTE?
it's twofold, and we can get into it. Like making the transition from financial management into plant-based medicine, and seeing that the government had a patent for a plant CBD that comes from the cannabis plant, patent 6630507, that said it acts as an antioxidant and neuroprotectant for the brain in relationships to
Mm,
concussion. So I started this about 10 years ago because that's when the concussion lawsuit was happening. We had guys like Carlton Hasselrig, Junior Seau, guys of that nature had committed suicide because, and once they opened up their brain, they seemed like their brain was ravaged with CTE. They knew something was wrong with
mm,
them, but it can't be diagnosed until post mortem. And so I was saying, like, the cure to CTE and concussions is not going to be safe for making rules in football because football is a collision sports and it's not going to be equipment. There's no mouthpiece, there's no water, there's no whatever. It's going to come through science. And
Mm.
that's why I started advocating it, man. And now I'm advocating about protecting yourself if you play football. If you get a concussion, if you're like under 18, because your brain doesn't fully develop until you're 21, I'm telling these high school and junior high kids, if you get a concussion, you should be out for the season. Your brain is too important. And I've been seeing, since I've been advocating, I've seen guys as young as 20 years old, 22 years old that never even made it to the pros because concussion,
Mm.
CTE, repeated hits to the head, it's not exclusive to the NFL. If you take a
Yeah.
kid right now, you go out to any field in Texas right now, you're going to see them out there practicing in full helmets as young as age 7 and 8.
Yeah.
And the hits to the head may not seem as heavy as it is in the pros, but it's relative to that age group. Now you take a kid that plays all the way through high school, 18, that's 10 years of hits. Give him
Yeah.
another 4 years of college, that's 14 years. And then if he goes to the pro, that's why when they open up the pro football player's head and they open up 100 of them, 99 or 97 of them had CTE. We have to protect ourselves. It's through science, but also look out for your brother and don't try to be like some superhero man because if you get dinged up, man, go sit it out. It's your
Mm.
head that you're gonna have to deal with when all this the air goes out the ball and you're 35 and you're 40 and you're 45 years old. You don't want to be dealing with this. Because I got a buddy right
Yeah.
now. He did a good job. He saved up all his money, but he's dealing with the effects of CTE. And he said he would trade every dollar he had just to feel normal. Guys can't sleep, guys can't concentrate, guys can't remember anything. And it's not only them that suffer, it's their families. The wives become like nurses to these guys because they can't
Mm.
function. And I've seen it, but not only in, sorry about that. And
Are
this
you
is
good?
recorded, but not only in football, but hockey. Not
Hmm.
only in hockey, but the largest incident of CTE and concussions comes from girls soccer with the headers.
Mm.
So this is prevalent throughout sports. And um, CTE and traumatic brain injury that happens to the soldiers that are coming out the war theaters that were coming out there, it happens. I've dealt with special forces guys. I dealt with regular army guys. I've dealt with people, women in the military that this happens to them. You know,
Mm.
CTE is something that can happen to anybody. So
Mm.
let's see how the way we can figure out mitigate the side effects and make it safer. I had a buddy that William Small, you just mentioned William Small Wealth Management, my
Hmm.
partner, the ex-partner in the financial group, he was taking an insurance test. Girl hit a pressure point and he fell down, had a concussion, and he's dealing with the effects of a concussion, the closed head injury, CTE. So that's why I advocated because it affects football, professional football players a lot. We're 74% of the league. Ex-players, we're a large body, and I want to see my community and my brotherhood be taken care of.
Wow, good stuff, man. And I'm glad you brought in the piece about the young kids because we don't often think about them when we think about this and their the hits that they're taking to the head. We often always just think about maybe high school and beyond, but we don't think about those young kids out there playing on the fields like you talked about.
That's I hate that when I go past these fields and I see these 7 and 8, 9, 10 year olds in helmets. I hate them, to see that coaches that are out there that are not equipped and they want to have their son and they might have played in junior high and high school and they're out there teaching these kids how to lead with their head. They're doing damage to these kids. And these
Yeah.
kids have to be your father, they have to be your coworker, they have to be parents, they have to be husbands, they have to be your coworker, and we're sending them out there brain damaged.
Wow. Man, you worn so many hats, NFL player, advocate, and now financial advisor. I'd love to bring it closer to home to talk about the impact you're making. So, studies show that athletes often face major challenges in transitioning out of professional sports, whether it's financial uncertainty, identity shifts, or long term health issues, like we talked about a moment ago. So, you've gone from professional athlete to advocate to financial advisor. How do you see all of these roles fitting together into your mission today?
Well, I went from athlete to working in the financial industry, financial advisor, and now in the cannabis industry as an advocate, activist, and entrepreneur.
Okay.
But it all ties in. and I'm still dealing with athletes. And the thing is that they did a study that said 5 years after retirement, like 80 something of the professional athletes will be broken, whether it's uh, NBA or NFL. And I've seen it with my own eyes. And now what you have is I still, I'm not holding my licenses anymore, but I still dabble in that world because the next wave and the new wave that I want to deal with is the NIL that these college kids are getting, these high school kids are getting. What type of financial plan budget are you setting these kids up with? Because you can be a star in college and make $4 or $5 million. Doesn't mean you're making the NFL, but how much of that money have you saved to give you a good
Mhm.
start in life? The college game has changed, and I accept that. But if a kid's going from school to school, making $1 million here, making $1 million there, let's hope he graduates, and let's hope that he's getting good financial management.
Yeah.
Because when you in your career, whether it's in high school, whether it's in the college or pro, that's part of your identity. And a lot
Mhm.
of guys can't separate from what they did to who they are.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
guys that do the best are able to separate. So these college kids, I'm worried about because they're getting all this money and their parents, are they financially savvy? A lot of them are not, whether it's
Mhm.
concrete, urban area, and we know what we're talking about, or we're talking about the rural area. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Outside of checking and savings and a 401 that they don't pay that much attention to that their job may have, they're not that financially savvy.
Yeah.
So it should be something to where if you're getting these kids $1 million, $3 million, $4 million, and these are the numbers that we're talking about,
Mhm.
they should become with a financial advisor. It should, because they can say with that type of money, they can give themselves a good start in life and they can set some things up for life as far as protection, investment, and whatever to the point where some of these guys are making enough money in college where, getting a job and making a living, it's an option. But they want to
Mhm.
work and whatever, but they'll be real comfortable. They'll be real
Yeah.
comfortable.
May elect not to even go to the NFL if you can really make the right investments with the money
Here's
you
the
make.
thing. You've seen college basketball and look at the draft of the 4 and 5 year players. They're staying.
Mm.
They're staying because this year was the least amount of guys that went hardship than it has been in recent memory. There was only like 70 or 50 something guys that chose to go hardship. Year before and 2 years before that was 200 something guys because they want to go make money, whether it's in the NBA or whether it's in Europe or in China, wherever it was, to go
Yeah.
out the country and make money. Now, why would I? If I'm a BMCO big man on campus, I'm
Yeah.
6'8", undersized center, but this school is paying me $1 million. I'm not going pro. I'm
Yeah.
staying here. I'm staying here definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, if you can get it. But like you said, it's great to see them getting it, but we also want to make sure they're properly managing it once they do get it.
To whom much is given, much is expected, and I hope
Yeah.
they're putting a lot on these kids not to go out and buy the cars, not to go out and buy the jewelry, and put it away. That should be the financial management should be damn near a class for these kids. If they're getting
Yeah.
paid, they need to learn how to put this money away because
Wow.
it's going to end. And can you imagine you being OC and you're 25 years old and you can't afford a car, you don't have any money? Well, that's it.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's it.
Wow. Well, talking about kids, research also highlights the influence parents have in shaping how children approach health, resilience, and even money, as we talked about. Now, as you think about your own children, what lessons about health, perseverance, and preparation do you want most for them to carry forward?
I have, you know, three wonderful kids. I have three kids, and I have 4 degrees, college degrees between three of them, 4 college degrees and one master's. They're doing well, and me and their mom got divorced, but we did a great job. A we did what was expected to us as being stewards to them and
Yeah.
showing them about diet. They watched me stay in shape when I was playing and even post football. They watched me financially. They watched me health wise, and so they have all the tools that it takes to make it. One of the things that I try to impart in them is like not sow your wild oats, but wait until you get married. My son got married at 31. Now, 2 years later, his wife is pregnant. They have a house. That's the way it was to do it. I'm getting
Mhm.
married at 21, trying to pick out China. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And now my kids they know what to eat. They know how to eat. They know how to conduct themselves. They know how to do a budget. My kids I'm really proud because one of the things that I know is that if you mess up with your kids, you can't go back and change that because you have one opportunity and
Yeah.
you have to be in their lives. Like my kids, on a Saturday, instead of playing games or whatever, we're going to Barnes and Noble. We're going to Border Books,
Yeah.
to get them books. They're avid readers too.
Yeah.
Now, maybe a little bit too much. They think they know a little bit too much, but that's all good. But putting stuff in them and taking them to the farmers market and showing them how to identify the fruits that have the GMO and that are organic, by the codes
Mhm.
on the fruit, things of that nature. And they're good kids. They've never given us any trouble. They've never they got good friends.
Yeah.
They're good students and they're good citizens, and that comes from I came from a two-parent household. My father had a seventh grade education, but he was born in 1927, so he had to get out there and work, and that's what he did. He gave us a
Mhm.
living as a blue collar worker, a nice middle class blue collar worker. My mom was a stay-at-home mom until late, until I got older, and so I grew up with that, and so that was the expectation. But I will say this: that myth about black families and black men, I think it's a myth because
Yeah.
all of my
Yeah.
son's friends, they all have fathers. We all talk at
Yeah.
the wedding. One of his best friend is Zachary Orr, and he is the defense coordinator for Baltimore Ravens. I know his father.
Mhm.
Another friend is assistant offense coordinator at Waxahachie High School. I know his father
Yeah.
because if you got a son that's in athletics, the father's going to be around, and
Yeah.
that's all I saw is around. And all these kids went to school. They wasn't in the NIL area, and they all graduated. They all
Yeah.
graduated, and that's the deal, man. Play this game, and then these kids be like, now, like I try to help kids out. I try to help them get recruited, and everybody's talking about, I want to go D1. I want to this, that, and the other. No, find you a college, have fun, play, and get your degree. Then
Yeah.
the game starts.
Man, I love it. I love it. You hinted at it, your age, but looking at you, man, you look like you still know your way around a gym or know where a gym is located at least.
My health, my wealth is my health, and movement is medicine. Those are my hashtags on my social media. I try to go to the gym as much as I can, 6 days a week, and then I try to walk in between from 15 K to 20K steps a day. My day starts at 4:45. I do my prayer, my meditation because I'm putting God first
Yeah.
and I thank him every morning when I get up, and then I hit it and I get to the gym, and then I gotta work. You know what
I
I'm
love it.
saying? And I'm not like clocking in, but I like to start out about 9 o'clock. It
Mhm.
all depends because I get friends in the UK and whatever, and then I work until I'm finished, and that may be until 5 o'clock, that might be until 2 o'clock, whatever. And yeah, it's all about that, man. It's all about
Yeah.
your wealth is your health. Because before I finish up, last thing, my sister did like a survey, and she was asking life questions. Some silly like if there was only one food you could eat, what would you eat or whatever. But she was asking life questions like, when you get
Mhm.
75, what do you want? You want money? You want your health? And so every her siblings, my kids, and the young kids was like, when you get 75, 70, ah man, I want to be rich. I want to be rich. Then when
Yeah.
she started talking to the aunts and the father-in-laws and the older people that were in their 70s, 80s, and even 90, they were telling you
Yeah.
your health.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you want.
Wow. Because you can have all the money in the world, man. If you're not in
If you can't enjoy
can't
it,
even
you can't
spend
move
it.
around, give me a
Yeah.
break. Give me a break.
Man, I love that. Yeah, and I had one other question, but I want to go here. You talked about that prayer and meditation in the morning. Do you think that is largely a good part of why you focus on your health? I mean, once you come into the knowledge of who you are through relationship with Christ or whatever your spiritual walk is, but you understand that this is bigger than just you. Uh, do you think that really helps a man to be able to focus on his health?
I think it's mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah.
And it takes you a while to figure it out. And the thing is, it's like when I played and, you tell athletes put God first. A lot of guys don't get that. And I didn't get it when I
Yeah.
was playing. I was putting my career first and saying,
Mm.
man, I put my career first, my family, and then, man, I'm doing this and whatever. But as you get older and life gives you some lessons and whatever, God's with you. And my walk with Christ and God, I'm a Christian, is paramount to who I am. And so if I'm going to be consistent with going to the gym, if I'm going to be consistent with doing my various work, why can't I be consistent on the spiritual side? You
Yeah.
know? And so I got to be consistent with it. And uh, if you want to fail, be inconsistent. If you're
Yeah.
guaranteed to fail if you be inconsistent. So
That's it.
my prayer every day is to be consistent and be focused on the word. And once I'm out there walking, because the sun, I don't live maybe a couple blocks over is the Hudson River over there. And so I walk
Okay.
along the Hudson River. Maybe I'll send you a video of my walk and
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm up, man. And I was walking today or yesterday and was like 5:30, 5:35 at this lake down here. And there was a guy said 90 plus. And it's like, I stopped him. I was like, how old are you? And he was like, I'm 92, going to be 93. And I said, man, that's a blessing. And I thank God for that. And I said, God, if I don't know what it is, but if I'm 93, I want to be like that.
So if that doesn't encourage you to see a 90-year-old on your walk and he's not all bit out of shape, he's walking, so
No,
obviously
no,
he's in
no.
great shape.
He's walking, and one of the things that I know and is about health. The stronger you are, the longer you live, and if you keep your quad muscles strong and you're able to get up in a chair and whatever,
Yeah.
you're gonna live. And I'm not saying this of something that I heard, and I heard that. I'm saying it's something I know. My grandfather lived until he was 105 years old, and he walked everywhere. My mom's 90, be 93, and she still walks 2 miles a day.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And she can
Yes.
still get up out of her chair and what have you. So that's it. And you see people, I've seen it with my father become like immobile and he couldn't get out of his chair and whatever. And he still lived to be 77. But I knew at the end he was immobile. But if you
Mm.
can still be mobile and whatever, I'm telling you, do that, man. Your wealth
Yeah.
is your health.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I guess in closing, man, one of the things we always like to do on this program, it's Principles for Success, is to ask you, what is that one principle that you feel like, led to the majority of your success?
I think the one thing is consistency.
Yeah.
That's been my whole thing. Be consistent. If you want to fail, be inconsistent, but be consistent. And it's okay if you fail, get back up.
Yeah.
If you fail, get back up. If you get knocked down 7 times, how many times did the Bible say you're supposed to get back up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A champion gets knocked down, but he doesn't stay down. And I
Mm.
was telling a young lady today, it's like failure is part of success.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks success is this smooth uh, line. Nah, it's bumpy, it's twisty, it's
Yeah.
whatever it is. But as long as you keep going and trying, you're going to give yourself a chance. If you
Yeah.
don't keep trying and don't be consistent, you have no chance. And there's not days like, well, don't feel bad if you miss a day. Don't feel bad if you miss 2 days. Don't let it become a habit. Get
Yeah.
back on it and get back into that consistency and that focus. Get back into that consistency and that focus. And I don't know if you'll be successful, but you'll have a chance.
Yeah. A much better chance you would if you quit. So
You don't have any chance.
yeah, if you quit, that's it. It's over. You
Yeah, or
count yourself out.
if you take too long, I'm just saying be consistent. Be
Yeah.
consistent, and you'll see that y- you'll have better luck if you're
Yeah.
consistent.
I love it. I love it. Well, man, I want to thank you, Marvin Washington, for again putting that video out, just encouraging men to get the prostate screening. Because again, it was in seeing that video. I've had your number for quite some time, but just seeing that video, I said, you know what? I need to reach out to him and see how can we get a conversation around this. And I really do believe that guys and families will benefit as a result of this conversation this evening. So thank you for taking the time to do it. I really appreciate it.
Chris, thank you for having me on, man. And anything I can do help to get the word out or help about your podcast, let me know. If you need more guys on, local guys and some national guys, guys have some ex-athletes have some pretty interesting platforms. So we'll talk offline and what have you.
Okay.
But listen, I'm happy for you. I wish you much success and thank you for having me on. I am like humbled and grateful.
Absolutely. Thank you.